I am excited to speak to you today. I'm Eagle Heart Woman, and this is Eagle Heart Manifestation. What a great day we have today. And I'm going to light the smudge because I will be telling an amazing story to you today, and it'll all come full circle with an amazing teaching at the end that will help you to manifest what you want in your life. So, without further ado, I will take a match and light the sage as I did last time. And I'm just going to purify you and bless you. And just if there's anything that you don't need anymore, if you had not a great sleep, or you had something happen to you on the way to work, this blesses you and just purifies you and takes all of that negativity, anything that you don't need anymore. Just rest assured that you are whole, perfect, and complete. And I offer you blessings on yourself, pets if you have any, your family, and your house plants. Hi, hi. Be blessed. I'd like to start off telling you about Russell Wright, who was an elder from the Siksika First Nation in southern Alberta. And he was looked after the museum on the Siksika First Nation Reserve. And I'm going to actually start holding my feather as I talk so that Creator comes through my head and tells me exactly what you need to know and hear at this time. And I just also want to say that I always do things that make me feel good. And before I recorded this, I put on a perfume that I just love. It smells like rain in the summertime on fresh green leaves. So that's a little tip about helping yourself to feel better, helping yourself to feel rich and abundant. And I can smell it, and I absolutely love the smell, and I feel good. Back to Russell Wright. He showed me an umbilical cord pouch. And this was a sewn leather shape. It was in the shape of a turtle, and it was stuffed with the umbilical cord, the stump that falls off after a baby is, I think, a few weeks old. It's been so long since I've had a baby. I have one son. And that piece, most of the umbilical cord is cut at birth, but there's a little stump that stays on and dries and falls off. So it was traditional amongst his Plains Blackfoot people to put the umbilical cord inside this pouch, and then it was beautifully beaded. I think there's a picture of it that will appear on your screen. And that was the child's spirit. It was to remind that child of the fact that they came from the spirit world, slept in water, grew in water in their mother's womb for 9 months, and then they were birthed into this physical world. And the pouch, Russell told me, was usually shaped like a turtle. And why a turtle? The turtle is an amazing animal, and this is where the story comes in. A long time ago, the Creator saw that mankind was not treating each other very well and sent the rains and flooded the earth. And one human survived and found a turtle that was willing to let him crawl up on her back so that he wouldn't drown. And all around him, there was no sign of land at all. For days, he floated on the turtle's back. He sat while the turtle swam, And then he saw a loon, which is a black and white water bird, a duck, a beaver, and a muskrat. And they were struggling to stay above water. So he asked Turtle if they could climb on her back, and she agreed. So now he's joined by 4 other beings, and they're looking around for land, and they're not seeing any. So this human, being a very spiritual human, decided to pray and go into meditation to see what he should do. And after some time, he received information from his higher self or from Creator that if he could get even a speck of dirt onto that turtle's back, it would grow into land. Now, how was he going to get this dirt that was way below, way down on the floor of the earth that was now covered by water? Well, the loon said, I'm a good diver. I'll dive straight down and I'll get some dirt in my beak and I'll bring it back up. So the human thought this was a good idea and sent Loon diving off the turtle's shell, and down, down, down the loon went. But just as she was about to grab some dirt in her beak, she ran out of breath and had to swim for the surface lest she drown. The human wasn't very happy about this, but the loon had failed. Then Duck spoke up and said, send me. I'm a good diver too. And the human said, yeah, you can try. The duck took a deep breath this time and swam down and swam down. But the same thing happened just as it was about to grab some dirt in its beak. Ran out of breath, had to struggle up to the surface as quickly as possible and grab a mouthful of breath. Things weren't looking good, but then Beaver, being the fixer, the great builder, said, I'll get the dirt. I can swim down. My den is underwater that I build, and I'm used to being under the water, and I'll be able to grab the dirt. So he took 2 deep breaths and then dove down as much as he could. He plowed the water with his front paws, used his tail, and once again almost got to the bottom of the lake, of the water, but was just a fraction too short of breath and had to swim up to the surface. The human decided that they were all going to die. They were not going to be able to survive on Turtle's back because they had no food and no land. So things were pretty grim. And then behind the human, there was a tiny little voice that said, let me try. I can do it. And the human turned around to see little muskrat, which is a little furry animal, not much bigger than a large mouse, and said, no, I'm not going to let you try. It's too big a task. You're too small. Your lungs would never be able to be filled enough with air for you to get down as far as you need to. And look at all of your fellow animals have tried and failed. But Muskrat wouldn't let it go and said, you've got to let me try. You've got to let me try. So finally the human agreed. But with much trepidation, much worrying, watched little Muskrat just stand at the edge of the turtle's shell and take 3 deep breaths, close his eyes, and he dove. And down, down, down he went. And he knew that he would get that dirt. He just wasn't taking no for an answer. So as he got down, he could see the dark mass of the dirt. And he was almost out of breath, but he was just able to swipe one of his tiny paws into the mud, the dirt at the bottom of the water. And he thought he'd failed, but he just swam up as quickly as he could because he was running out of breath. The human grabbed him, cradled him, laid him on the turtle's back, knowing that he'd likely failed. But then he looked, and under the claw of his front right paw was a tiny little speck of mud. Well, the human quickly spread this on the back of the turtle, and it grew and it grew and it grew to be the landmass that we know as North America. And if you talk to Indigenous people, North America to this day is known as Turtle Island. A turtle is very, very sacred to Indigenous people. So to that child who's wearing that turtle pouch containing its umbilical cord, it is protected by Mother Earth. Protected. Its life is held dear in the bosom of this Mother Earth that we walk upon. And everyone who saw the beaded pouch that the child wore pinned to its clothing above its heart knew that that child belonged to the whole community and that it was their duty to treat that child, raise it to be a good adult, treat it as well as if it was their own child. Isn't that beautiful? So here's an artist rendering of that turtle, and it shows the animals diving down into the water to grab some dirt and create Turtle Island or North America. And the artist's name is Storm Anjakoneb. She's an Indigenous artist from Lac Seul First Nation in Treaty 3 territory. Storm was born and raised in Winnipeg, Manitoba, and she currently lives in Red Lake, Ontario. I've told this story and the information I've given you about the umbilical pouch for your belly button is to bring you now in touch with your own navel and your own spirit. So I'd like you right now, trust me, close your eyes and place your hand on your belly button. Just play along with me and do it. Take some deep breaths, and as you do, think for a moment of how you came into this world as a beautiful spirit. How you came into your mother's belly and spent 9 months in the water before you formed your human body and came into the physical world. Just be with this idea for a while. I bet it's been a long time since you've thought about your spiritual entrance into this world. You are a beautiful spirit. You're whole. You're a wondrous being. And there's nobody else like you in all of creation that has your looks, the gifts that Creator gave you, and your personality. Now, just think about that for a minute. So if your mind snapped right back at you and said, what do you mean I'm whole and perfect and a beautiful spirit? I haven't achieved what I wanted to do in life. I'm not the weight that I should be, and blah, 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 blah. And even if it is playing along, there's something that I'd like to share with you, and this is the takeaway from today's video. Now you can take your hand away from your belly button and hear this. Hear this. This is really important. You can't just sit, as I've said before, and say affirmations. You have to embody, feel, be the person that you are as you already have what it is that you want. So if you want to be 140 pounds and back to the physique you had when you were 20 years old, would that person sit around on the couch eating donuts and drinking coffee? If you're the abundant person that you would like to be, would you be griping and groaning about the price of everything? No, you'd be generous and within reason, not to go through your bank account, but feel generous, feel abundant. See yourself giving checks to local helping agencies. Whatever in your mind makes you feel free and like you have abundance, like you can do anything that you want to do. Embody that feeling. Change your self concept. So, it your vibration comes from your self concept. And if you feel like you're not that person that has that thing, then you won't be vibrating at the rate of the thing that you want, and it won't come to you. So, there is a way, and it's easier than, having a piece of cake. And this is how it goes. I'm going to read this because it's so important. Step into this new version of yourself and trust. As you impress upon your subconscious mind this new concept of yourself, you've stepped into a new state of consciousness where you lose free will in this state. You're going to do new things automatically, and this state is going to bring things to you. Doors are going to open, and things are going to come through to you through this process. They're going to come to you through this process. I promise you. And if you feel a bit uncomfortable, it's because the old self doesn't want to give up the ways it's always been doing everything. It doesn't want to vibrate at this new frequency. But just persist. Akameamo. Keep going. Don't stop. And you will impress this new consciousness upon your subconscious. One more thing I have to read. It's okay that your old self is kicking up a fuss, because your new self is coming in because you've impressed on your subconscious mind what the new you does and feels. Carry on with this, and if you get kickback from that old mind and that old self, put your hand on your belly button like you did today and know that you're pure spirit. Know that you're deserving of everything that you want to bring in this world. And know that you're loved. Thank you for listening. Kinan Skomatin. Hi. I'll see you soon.